Life is too short for bad food.
Sure is.
Thankfully for us, we have some recommendations courtesy of our colleagues over at Live. So, what's on the menu, Dylan?
Now, we have a lot of recommendations from our colleagues at Live. If you are feeling a bit adventurous, do you fancy a satay fix with a unique twist? So that's one. We also have, perhaps some spicy ramen, with a tantalizing chicken thigh. Or Harento, if you're a fan of a double crusted pie, we have a great one from a Steak and Guinness double crusted pie. Or if you are craving the ever favorite local food, what about the traditional Ngoh Hiang with a mala twist?
Already drooling from all the delightful options. But without any further delay, let's bring in food editor Tan Sharin to share more on her food picks. Cher, thank you so much for coming onto the show. Let's focus on the satay first. Now, aside from how good the pork satay tastes, which you shared on in your story, there's also a story behind why it's special to you. Tell us more about that, Cher.
Well, for years, I've been eating Apui's pork satay at friends' homes. I never encountered him in Johor Bahru, but that's where he used to sell the satay from a push cart. And this is in the 20th century where illegal hawking is just not on, right? But he would do it and he kept getting busted. And on weekends, he would go to people's homes and he will grill satay for house party. And that's how I got to know Apui and talk to him and watch him work and eat his very delicious pork satay with the chunky peanut sauce and the pineapple puree. And then during the circuit breaker time, some of my friends got to know that he had gone legit. So he was now selling satay at a cafe in Pearl's Hill Terrace. And so of course, when we were able to go dine out again, I went to check it out and found Apui again, and I'm really happy that he's now got a legit gig and I can eat, his satay anytime I want without having to order a minimum of 500 sticks.
Now, partnerships like that of Mr. Ang and the cafe, are helping to preserve hawker culture. But what else can be done to further this cause?
Okay. Well, see, this is a very interesting collaboration because the guys who run 195 Pearl Hill Cafe didn't just buy over the recipe for like 50,000 or whatever it was, right? And then learn all the tricks and then, and then take the recipe with them. So what they've done is they've taken Mr. Ang under their wing. And actually, I don't know who is taking who under whose wing because they've given him a platform and he's kind of teaching them how to make his terrific pork satay. So I think that collaborations like these mean a lot more than just paying money for a recipe. And I would like to see more people doing something like this, giving the hawker the due recognition, acknowledging that he is masterful at his craft, and being willing to learn and to do whatever it takes to be as good as him. And I think that's the key. And it's not just a mercenary exchange of money for recipes.
Good advice there, Xue. Now, Xue, this week's food picks also feature Chai Ngoh Hiang and Sambal, Mim's Fabulous Pies and Matsukiya. Why do you handpick these three offerings?
Well, Matsukiya because it offers really good value for money and the food is really good. The set lunch is like 25 plus and it's a lot of food and all very well done and well thought out. So I think that's a very good addition to our food scene. And it's kind of like a middle ground between really high-end yakitori and mass market yakitori. So very welcome in the scene. Then the other two are home-based food businesses which are booming in Singapore right now. And I've made it a point to include them with every food pick that I do, or most picks that I do, just because it's a very interesting development on the scene. And I'm trying to see who is going to be still standing a year from now. So Chai Ngoh Hiang and Mim's Fabulous Pies, I think, will be standing for a good long time. Chai has got regular original Ngoh Hiang. It's started by three siblings, Chua siblings, and they're so good. And they're so easy to cook. I mean, instead of deep frying them, I just chuck them in my oven toaster, and it works really fine, and it crisps up the skin, and it's delicious. And then Mim's fabulous pies also, just get them frozen. They're cheaper, 80 cents cheaper if you get them frozen. You just brush some beaten egg on them and stick them in the oven, still frozen. And 40 minutes later, you have a meal. And the pies, double crusted pies, are so good. And you know, if you watch the Great British Bake Off, you would know that the most horrendous thing to happen to a pie is to have a soggy bottom.
Yep.
Mim's pies never have soggy bottoms.
Well, thank you so much, Xue, for your recommendations. You already got us very hungry. Now, we were speaking, of course,
I'm hungry
food.
too.
Well, we were speaking to food editor Tan Xue Yun. You can read all about her recommendations on straitstimes.com.